Hi folks, and welcome back to the second video of React Wednesday series called Learning with Hitali. Today we will be discussing React components and we will demonstrate how to create a React application without the CDN links and also learn how to nest the components. So what are React components? React components are reusable functions that together can make an entire application. Like imagine a building. A building has several apartments and each apartment operates differently. But when you bring these apartments together, it creates an entire building. Similarly, several components, when you bring them together, can make an entire application. These components work independently and can be reused based on your needs. And there are two types of React components. There's function components, the one that we will be working on today, and there's also class components. Even though it's still supported by React, it's not recommended to use in the new code, so we won't be working on those examples. So let's go ahead and take a look at the demo. So we created this example in our previous video in an HTML file where we added the React DOM, and Babel package using the CDN links, and we created our first component, which was a function component named as title. As you can see, we defined the component with an uppercase letter because that is necessary in a React component. It has to start with an uppercase letter. So let's proceed and create our React application. To create a React application, you will first need to install npx, and that can be found in the npm page and can be installed using the command npm install -g npx. So since I already have npx installed in my machine, I will go ahead and create React application using the command npx space create -react -app followed by the application name. I've defined it as my app. This will take a couple of minutes to install, and once the installation is done, we will redirect to the application and open it in Visual Studio Code to see what the application looks like. The React application comes with several packages installed, including Babel, React, and React DOM that we used as CDN links in our previous example. The application also comes with fav icon, index.html, which is the main page that contains all the components defined, basically the page that is executed when you run the React application. It has the div container with id as root currently. Then we also have the source folder that has the app component, its styling page. Let's run this application to see what the app component looks like. To run a React application, you use the command npm start. The application is then hosted in your local browser at port 3000. So let's run localhost 3000 to see what app component looks like. So it has the React logo, some text, and the Learn React link, which takes you to the React documentation. As you can see, here is the same text that was rendered and the link to Learn React. The app component is defined inside index.js and rendered in root, which is the div tag from index.html. Let's make some changes to the default app component and add our custom children components. Let's write a parent component here, and it already has the class name app. So in the CSS file, let's add some styling, say color red. And if you see the application, it's now updated with parent component with color red. In the console, you'll see the div container containing the div class app with color red. Okay, let's proceed and add a new folder, and let's call it children, and add a file called child1.js. So let's define our first child component. Let's call it function child1, and let's return first child within the fragments. So after defining the function, we also need to export it. So we can export saying export default child1, and in the app.js file we also need to import the child. So let's import child1 from the file path of the child1.js file. Once we've imported, we can then add child1. As you can see, there's no space between, or it's not even in a new line. That's because we've defined it in just fragments. So let's add the div tag so that it's more clear and readable. So there you go. It's now in a new line, and it can also be seen in the console. So let's create another file and another component and call it as child2.js. In the first child component, we defined the function and then exported, but here we can do everything in one line. We can directly say export default and define the function. So let's return paragraph and say this is the second child. Okay, and same as child1, we also need to import this in app.js. So let's import it and add it inside our app component. Let's run our application now. Okay, this is the second child. Let's take a look at how we can add custom styling to each component. Let's start with child1 and add a class name, say first child. Now to add a CSS to child1, we'll have to create a new file. Let's call it child1.css and then add the class name. And then add the styling. Let's say color green. We also need to import this file in the child component. Let's update our application. Okay, so first child, that's in green color. Now let's add some styling to the second child component. Let's add a class name, say second child. And then create a new file called child2.css. Add second child and color blue. We can also add inline styling to a component. So let's make some changes. Add second inside the strong tag, and then add the style attribute in curly braces, in double curly braces. Say color purple. Let's import the CSS file and rerun our application. So that's the updated application. We have the parent component in red color and custom styling to the children components. That's it for today. I hope you found the demo helpful. In the next video, we will be discussing how to add Bootstrap to your React application and two-way binding. So stay tuned for that. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you have any topics that you want me to discuss. Wish you all a very happy International Women's Day. And I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and keep coding. Bye.